afternoon. Welcome to the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting of May 20th, 2024. Has this meeting been posted in accordance with the Nevada Revised Statute?
Yes, it has.
Thank you. And do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do. And Chuck Pickens is on via teleconference.
Thank you. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is our first public comment period, limited to matters on the agenda. Doesn't appear we have anyone in the audience for public comment. Are there any online posts?
There are no written comments.
Thank you. Public wishing to comment via telephone can call 702-589-9629. Again, that's 702-589-9629. And this is the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting, May 20th. If you want to make a comment, you may do so by calling 702-589-9629. 702-589-9629. It appears we don't have any public comment. We'll move on to our agenda. Item number 1 for possible action is to approve the minutes of the March 25, 2024 meeting. Any discussion on those minutes?
One item. Were the high school participants at the meeting the last 2 months ago?
Yes.
That's what I thought. It's not reflected in the members present as.
And I'll look into that because that's not something that we have them listed under the roll call. So I can make note of it for next time that they appeared under the minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we just stick them in where the also present section,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yep, I can do that.
Okay, thank you. Any comments about the minutes from March 25th? I have a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion to approve.
In a second.
Motion a second.
All in favor? And those minutes are approved. Item number 2 for possible action pertaining to the municipal golf course and Boulder Creek Golf Course. First is review and possible discussion regarding statistics and surcharge reports. So those are in your package. Any comments or questions regarding those? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item B, overview of the Parks and Recreation by Parks and Recreation Director Julie Callaway.
Thank you and good afternoon. I'm excited to report to you that last week NCAA Championship for Men's Division III took place at Boulder Creek, and members of LVCVA, Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, along with NCAA staff came in and invaded Boulder Creek and worked side by side with Andy's crew and our maintenance staff from Turf Tech to put on an amazing event, amazing championship. Heard nothing but really, really good comments from the participants, their families, the coaches. They expressed how much they liked the conditions of the course, how good it was, and of course the hospitality that they received from the staff at Boulder Creek and then the volunteers as well. So it was a very, very successful event. We do have the next 2 years men's championships that are locked in for Boulder Creek, and I believe Andy Shaper has also submitted a request for, I want to say 2026, to also have another NCAA championship there. Again, they were very pleased with the conditions of the course, and it brought a lot of people out to Boulder City, and they enjoyed our restaurants and everything that Boulder City had to offer. So it was a nice event that brought a lot of tourism into our community. Regular maintenance that is going on at the golf courses does include mowing, weed eating, fertilization. Last week, there was aerification of the greens at the municipal golf course, so it was closed last Wednesday. Currently, the Boulder Creek is doing aerification of the greens, but it doesn't really affect play because they'll close 1 9 at a time. So it'll slow down the tee sheet, but it won't really turn people away. So that is good. Of course, Boulder Creek has been busy probably since March preparing for this tournament. So now they're playing a little bit of catch up from some of their day-to-day activities and operations, and making sure the entire course looks beautiful from this point forward, which it really does. So that was a great event. We couldn't do it without our partners there. Again, Andy Shaper and his crew are amazing, and Byron Hines and Matt Atkins and their crew from Turf Tech. Again, a great partnership that we've had for well over 20 years with both of those contract companies. We do have the Southern Nevada Water Authority watering restrictions and water budgets specifically for our golf courses. If you haven't had a chance, we do have a design team that's come up with a turf reduction plan for the municipal golf course. It is available on the city's website at www.bcnv.org. I highly recommend Boulder City residents, golfers, and anybody living in the proximity of the golf course to make sure they take a look at those plans. There is a place for public comment and or how you feel about the survey. It is a survey to see how residents feel about the proposed plan. So we probably have over 110 responses so far from individuals commenting on the proposed plan. There'll be another meeting, I believe, in June where the design team and staff will meet with City Council to, again, discuss the proposed plan for turf reduction and irrigation upgrades for the municipal golf course. And again, this is really coming from the water restrictions mandated by the Southern Nevada Water Authority due to the obvious drought that we've had the last couple of years that we can all see when we look at Lake Mead. So again, encouraging residents to look at that plan and fill out the survey so that City Council and staff knows how everybody's feeling about the proposal and the turf reduction. And that is it for my golf report. Any questions?
Quick question, when is public comments ending for that turf reduction program?
When are they due?
Yeah.
As of right now, we're not looking to close the survey anytime soon, but that meeting that's going in front of council will be in June, so obviously the sooner the better.
Okay, thanks.
Julie, when you talk to the balance of your staff, when they look at the budgets for the water, can you have them look at what water is used for the turf, what would be used for existing trees, and what would be used for any new landscaping coming in? Because so much of this is being driven by the water requirements. It'd be very interesting to see, because I know cottonwoods and the pines tend to take up a lot of water. There's a lot of concern about the turf and the trees that was expressed by all the neighborhood people.
So specifically to have the design landscape company come up with a picture of how much water is used specifically for trees versus turf, correct?
They're estimated water amounts based, because I think where you got the turf, you have the trees there, so it's kind of a mixed bag, but they should be able to say that we have to increase the water because of the trees at that point, which is probably beyond what the turf needs are. but there'll also be some new trees they're looking in, which ties back to one of the concerns about all the existing trees. And are they going to perform a survey anytime soon on which trees are going to be removed? Because I know cottonwoods can be diseased. They're getting like older in their life. They don't live forever. And it'd be certainly worth knowing how many of those trees would have to come down now, or what kind of expected life we may get out of them. I mean, whether we have another 20 or 30 years with them, or whether, I mean, I know when I golf out there, I see some of them where the limbs are dying out, the leaves are out of them, and they're starting to decline. And that means they'll be diseased pretty quickly.
Correct. Part of the contractor's responsibility is to utilize their arborist to identify each tree that's out there and assess the current condition of it and/or its remaining lifespan. So that will be part of it. So once that information is available, we'll make sure it's on the website. And yes, I will request the estimated water allocations per demographics.
Did you say that when the contractor is assigned, they'd look at with the arborist with the trees? Because that might be a little later in the design, or would be after the design.
So I just meant the contractor that we're currently using, the landscape design company,
okay.
Lage, that we
Lage
have
is-
contracted to do the onset. Part of that is the tree assessment.
So Lage would have an arborist come in as part of their design
That is
process.
correct.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I do, on the same issue of the turf reduction. So I know, well, I guess I haven't been following it closely enough, but I'm going to say what I think has happened here. So City Council had, I think, three options that it was looking at, and it chose one, went forward, and that's the current plan that's being proposed. I know there was a recent meeting, town hall meeting type meeting, and several of the owners, especially around the Muni course, appeared at that. I wasn't at the meeting, so I don't know specifics, but I've heard a lot of coming out of that meeting, and it's a big issue that's probably polarizes a lot of different opinions on it. Some people were super surprised by the amount of turf that's being taken out. I know it's a mandate, but within that mandate, I think that there's a lot of, room for different ways to do it. And so I guess the question I have is, how far along is the process? Is it really a done deal? It seems like it was kind of presented. Some people felt like, they went with questions and they were told by the individuals there that it was kind of a done deal, that, we're just moving forward with this at this point. So they didn't feel like they were being heard. Is this survey really going to change anything, or is it just kind of to get a feel for, where people are at on it after the fact, just going through the motions? How can people participate, and if they want to make a change, is it really a viable opportunity? You said there's going to be another meeting, but that sounds like a meeting between staff and city council and not necessarily input by owners.
So the reason for the survey, and we had the survey QR code at the town hall meeting, was to get feedback. So we knew where residents, golfers, et cetera, where they were at with the plan. The design has been posted and had been posted for about 2 weeks at the golf course prior to that meeting, because obviously we want to know what golfers think about the proposed plan. Like, are you going to end up in the chat all the time? Do you not see any issues with this? So the goal is to get as much input as possible. Now, if there is complete polarization where you have 50% wanting X and 50% wanting Y, of course, somewhere in the middle, I would assume, is what city council would decide on. Has there been a definitive answer as to exactly what is going to be done? We're still gathering information, and the city is listening to the residents and the golfers, and will make their final decision accordingly.
Okay, so the plan that the city council's put forward is just still recommended. It's not the final
I believe
option.
staff has requested the design team to come up with additional scenarios for consideration.
Okay. And will there be additional opportunities besides the survey for the public to give input?
At the city council meeting, where the agenda item is additional discussion for possibilities of turf removal for the Muni course, would be exactly when residents, golfers would want to make sure that they speak up in public comment, look for that agenda item, and reach out to council to let them know how they feel about a different plan or what comes forward.
So this June meeting, do you know what specifically is it an action item? Is the council going to make a certain decision at that point?
I have
or-
not seen the exact wording of the agenda item,
Okay,
but I believe that there's still, I don't believe the current design plan is the done deal.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, to me, it looks like it was just something that they concepted to see if was valid or what they could do with it. I think there's a lot more work to do on the design at this point.
Any other questions or input on that item? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item number 3 for possible action. Matters pertaining to the Recreation Division. Review and possible discussion on the statistics, which are in your packet. Any discussion there? Okay, now we'll have an overview from Program Coordinator Jennifer Spinkling.
Hello. So I wanted to start with just our award that we got. I don't know if it'll sit there. I'll put it right here. This is for the Hemingway Park. It's a Silver Legacy Award. We received that from the Nevada Parks and Recreation Society. It to recognize your park as a special prominence in a local community and the state of Nevada. Congratulations on enduring the test of time and becoming an iconic park to your community. So it had to be a park that I believe was around for at least 25 years. So we submitted that to the awards committee and brought home the award. So we were proud. This last weekend, we had our first summer kickoff bash. It was a foam party that we did at Broadbent Park. The idea behind the party was to highlight our summer programs that we have that we're offering to the children in the community. So we had tables from the pool, the classes, Safe Key, and then the sports table. And we were pleasantly surprised with the number of people that came. We had about 165 people that came to the event. And I kind of expected most people to show up to let their kids play in the foam. But the parents walked around, even with their kids, before they even went to the foam and got flyers and information and asked questions about our programs this summer. So it was a success in my eyes. And at the end of the foam party, they got to go to the pool to swim for an hour. So kind of a fun little event, something new to try, and I think we'll probably do it again next year. And tomorrow kicks off our summer, with school being out today, so Summer Safe Key starts. It's a summer camp. We offer it Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6, and they have field trips, and we're going to the library every Tuesday, kind of using some of our local vendors, so to speak. The library, we go to Rubens, we're going to Boulder Bowl, we're going to the swimming pool, and Veterans Memorial Park splash pad. And I think that was about all I had. Anybody have any questions for me?
Are we too old to participate in the summer activities?
We do have plenty for the adult crowd, including pickleball all summer. And a functional fitness class taught by Mary Henson that is growing. We were expecting it to start kind of slowing down with the summer months, but I walked in that room the other day and it was packed. So it's exciting to see all the people that have stories about that class. I'm super proud of her. Anything else? All right. Thank
Thank you. Now an overview of the sports program. Is somebody covering that?
Yes, I will cover that. Jamie is busy tonight. I think they have the finals of volleyball. So adult sport update from Jamie is that tonight is the final game of volleyball, big tournament. They did have 6 teams this season with over 60 players. Co-ed softball will also wrap up with a tournament at the end of this month. As far as youth sports go, had a very successful opening day for parents at the beginning of May, and time is flying. This month has gone by too fast. They only have 4 night games left, but the kids have had a great time, learned just the skills for baseball, coach pitch, t-ball, and have really had fun being out there. So it's been a nice season for that. Sports is offering summer camps this summer. This is kind of something that Jamie's taken over within the sports department because her youth league programs kind of halted through summer. So she's offered a different alternative for kiddos in Boulder City. She has 7 different camps over the summer for ages 4 to 7. She has indoor soccer and a dance and cheer camp. For ages 8 to 14, she has dance and cheer, pickleball, basketball, volleyball, and 3D printing and science. So she's offering a little bit of everything for kids to keep them busy this summer. And yes, she was advertising at the Summer Bash on Saturday in between running through the foam. So she's excited for the kids to stay busy this summer and take advantage of some of the sports camps that we have. Any questions?
Thank you. And you're still up on overview of the Recreation Administration items.
Yes, sir. So as you can see on the dais, I did provide you a list of the special events for the next 12 months. You hopefully notice that it does look a little bit different. We're really trying to streamline our processes and make them one document that fits many different needs. And so this hopefully is a little bit of a cleaner look for everyone. And it's just part of us trying to stay on top of our processes and making sure that we're doing everything the most efficient way possible. So you can see we have a busy schedule for the next 12 months. In the next couple of weeks, we do have the Best Damn Barbecue, which will be taking over several of our downtown parks, and they'll also be utilizing the gymnasium for a gem show. So that's this weekend. Whew. Memorial Day weekend, that is this weekend. And then the next big special event, of course, is Damboree, July 4th, starting at 7 a.m. with a pancake breakfast, ending at about 9:45 with the final firework finale. Staff is working currently on our fiscal year end while also preparing for the beginning of next year. We're closing out invoices and finishing projects and getting ready for July 1, where we start all over again. We do have some playground projects that are mostly completed. We have new playground equipment at Broadbent, Oasis, and Vets. We do still have improvements to come, but we are happy to report that all 3 of those parks do have at least one very large new playground structure. At Oasis, there's actually 2 new structures and new safety surfacing at Oasis. And we are really encouraging residents to go out and enjoy all of our parks. One thing that you'll notice specifically with the 3 parks that we just had equipment added to, they're all a little bit different. The one at Vets looks very similar to what we've had at all of our parks, but the Oasis and at Broadbent, they're very different. So the premise is to kind of visit all of the parks because you're really going to get a very different play experience from all of them. You might be climbing more at one park, you might be able to slide at another park, there might be more spinning features at another park, but it's really to provide a variety of play experiences so kids never get bored and parents can, rotate from park to park to park and kids have fun and enjoy all of them a little bit differently. We do have the pickleball court project for Veterans Memorial Park is still moving forward. It's in the design stages, so more to come on that. As far as turf reduction based on Southern Nevada Water Authority restrictions, the next park that we'll be focusing on will be South Escalante Park, right in between the bowling alley and the police station. And basically what we'll be doing is very similar design to what we did at Crow Park, which you might not have even noticed because it is kind of subtle, but basically moving the sprinklers from directly next to the curb to about 10 feet in, which is a requirement so that the overspray doesn't go into the street. So that's similar to what you will see at South Escalante. However, we might have to take some trees into consideration. We're not going to be losing trees, so some of that distance might be off a little bit so that we can maintain those trees that are still there. And finally, we do have Boulder City Cascada Golf Day. It is scheduled for June 3rd, and that is the one day a year where Boulder City residents can golf up at Cascada. It is looking like it will be the first year in a long time where we have filled up exclusively with Boulder City residents, which will be really, really nice. Currently, we have residents going on a wait list, and we're kind of moving all of our players around. Some players didn't get in on time. They're on the waiting list. Other people have been on the list forever, so we're just kind of moving people around, but it does look like that it'll be exclusively for Boulder City residents, and again, that is set for June 3rd at Cascada. Any questions? All right.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 4 for possible action, matters pertaining to the Aquatic Division. Packet is in or the statistics report is in your packets. Any review or discussion for those? Hearing none, we'll have an overview from Aquatic Coordinator Cherie Brennan.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Well, we just reopened after being closed for Bubble Down and all the maintenance and all the work that goes into that. We had an outstanding crew with some of our own staff as well as the Public Works Department. So everything went really well. Even in those moments when seems like things aren't going to get done, it all got done. And we were able to have the elementary school kids come this past Thursday, Friday, and then today, different age groups, different classes, for about total of about 400, a little over 400 kids between the 3 mornings, 3 days that we had them there. And Jen already mentioned the summer bash, so I didn't grab the numbers on that, how many of the total number actually came to the pool to enjoy the pool that day, but it's nice to be outside in the sunshine and ready for, almost ready for summer. So getting the elementary kids there kind of gives the lifeguards and staff a taste of what's to come, getting them ready. We will, so we're currently in what we're calling a soft reopening schedule, today, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Monday, Memorial Day. Wednesday and Thursday, the facility will be closed because we're going to do a lot of intensive training with the staff. They don't get an opportunity to practice those deep water skills except in the summer when the dive tank is available. So we'll be hitting that hard. Some exciting news. As I've reported before, we have the BCH swim team and the high school swim teams that practice at the pool. And the high school, both boys and girls won regionals. That was on the 11th. And then this past Saturday, the boys won their state meet. The girls didn't quite get there, but the boys won, so that's pretty exciting. We are gearing up for summer classes, swimming lessons. Those are filling up. We need to add more instructors as we have them available to open more classes. Water aerobics, those folks are eager to be in the sunshine, and we'll have about 6 different classes this summer for aerobics. And I just want to give a shout out to a couple of our staff members. Chris Fexer, who we hired as pool maintenance person in end of December, he's just been doing an outstanding job. Great to have him around. He understands things. And before he was on board, I figured that I spent about 20 to 25% of my week or time handling water chemistry, maintenance issues, those sorts of things. And since having him on board, that's gone down to about 5%. So that's it's been great for me to kind of take that load off my shoulder. The other person I want to recognize, her name is Lynn Fielding. She's an outstanding swimming instructor, lifeguard, and the reason for mentioning her is that in June, she will have worked for the pool for 25 years. So we're going to have a little, she doesn't know this, but we're going to have a little something coming
will
up.
now.
She has to be at in-service anyway. And I guess the last thing, I think we have plenty of lifeguards for the summer, which is great. We haven't been utilizing the staffing service since March for our mornings. So I think that's about all I have. Do you have any questions?
I guess not. Thank you.
All righty.
Item number 5 for possible action be an overview by Director Callaway on mountain biking and the aerial trail system at Bootleg Canyon.
Thank you. Bootleg Canyon. Events for downhill bike races are on the book, starting back up again in the fall. The heat up there doesn't make it so conducive for racing, so they'll be back up again in the fall. You can see them on your schedule. There's one in September, another one in October. So that'll be up and running again shortly. We do have an update on the zip lines. It's out to bid, seeking an RFP for a company to come in that's contract and licensed to be able to get that operation up and running again. You may remember that a couple of meetings ago, I provided the latest assessment of the condition of the existing equipment that's out there, and most of it is still in great condition, so it shouldn't be too difficult for a licensed contractor to get that up and running in a fairly timely manner, and that is exactly what we're looking for. It's been closed since COVID. The previous company couldn't make it through the trials and tribulations of COVID, but it still seems to be something that the city is interested in getting back up and running again. So we're excited that that is out to bid. There's a site visit scheduled for, I think it's June 11th, where prospective contractors can actually come out and view the site, just to get a better glimpse of exactly, what the condition is out there and learn more about it so that they can submit their information. And that is what I have for Bootleg Canyon.
Does that RFP still have the facility element in it, or that?
It does have some potential additions that the city would like to see added in the future. I think one of them was kind of like a concession area and maybe another set of restrooms. Off the top of my head is what I remember added to that. It wouldn't be initially, I believe that would be long-term.
Okay.
But yes, those were included.
Well, that seemed to be one of the issues that the previous company had, was being able to meet
Being
that.
To fulfill
demand,
that.
yeah.
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay.
Seems like the old contract had some road maintenance and at some point even like gate access and things like that, but is any of that in the new one?
I didn't look at it that closely to see exactly what the stipulations were. I think it's more checking to see who would be qualified to do it, and then some of those more detailed logistics would come when there's actually a contract written.
Anything else on bootleg? Okay, we're on to Parks and Recreation Commission reports. Anyone have a report to share?
I do. I was a volunteer at the Division III Men's Golf Championship last week. I worked the practice rounds. I also worked on the final rounds. And we were passing out water and Gatorades, and I probably talked to at least half the golfers and probably 75 or 80% of the parents and families that were following them all around, and most of them are walking or in their carts. I understand that there were 43 teams and 221 golfers in this event, which was quite large, and each one from a different conference, so it covered quite a bit of the United States. The course was exceptional. I mean, I golfed that course frequently. It was just incredible shape. And then I also had the opportunity to speak with all the representatives of LVCVA, which I was part of their host committee as a volunteer, the NCAA and the U.S. Golf Association, and I got a lot of great insights in talking to all of them to see what they thought of the experience that they had here in Boulder City. So here are the comments on these. Were repeated over and over in a lot of places. Great course, great conditions, and they love the venue. And a lot of them were talking about, the coaches in particular, about coming back in 4 years for another D3 championship there. It must be on a 4-year cycle, but they really liked it. There was also discussion of maybe having Muni involved in some of this for like some of the preliminary work, because they went out of town, well, at Anderson, I think it was, for part of the practice rounds before they got there. And then they also figured out that we had a third course here, which was Cascada. So there was several people who said we should come here for a golf weekend or a golf vacation. I mean, a lot of them. They also commented on the hospitality that was provided by the entire city, how welcoming and friendly the community was, really nice places to eat and drink, and many of them thought that Boulder Creek was actually a country club, not a municipal golf course. And I thought that was kind of surprising because, to me, you know, they talk about being municipal, but that, I think, puts it in a little bit of a higher status. Then there's some other things that were kind of weird because, not really weird, but interesting. They started to ask questions about what's it like living in Boulder City, and what's the real estate market like here. So as they're going around the course, they're looking out at some of the neighborhoods, right? You got Track 350 coming up, so some of them know they have that, but a lot of them seem to express interest in the fact that maybe when their kids were out of college, that it might be a great place to be, because most of them ended up being big golfers. There were a couple of comments, though, that were not as positive. One is there was discussion about there was not enough lodging in this city for the families. I know some were in VRBOs somewhere, but there's no suites. There was no accommodations for the teams here, for example, so they thought that the hoteling might be a little bit on the light side, that another hotel would be helpful. I know that the NC2A stayed, I believe it was at Railroad Pass at the new, I can't remember what hotel it is now, and then a bunch of them were at Sunset Station. I think all the competitors were at Sunset Stations, and then the families were spread all over the place. So those were the two things that I'd say were a little bit of criticism about it, because we did have a lot of people. I think this this was almost a week long, so it was a lot of people that the city would have had to handle. And, you have all the other really great comments, though, but I think that's something that should be brought forward. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Chad?
A couple things that came up over the last few weeks. There was a discussion on Facebook about wiffle ball fields, and what came out of that was how many baseball diamonds do we have in our park system that aren't under lock and key? And that was a question that I'm thinking 0, but I may be wrong.
I'm thinking 0 too. However, you can just call the Parks and Recreation Department and we'll be happy to give you the code.
Okay, and I know that it's allowed, you're able to rent those fields and
We
facilities.
will give you the code without paying to rent them.
Okay,
So they are accessible if you call and ask, for sure. And the reason we do that is because the amount of vandalism has been decreased 100-fold by not leaving them unlocked all the time. So therefore, when somebody wants to use it, they simply call and we say, you know, Mr. Smith wants to use it. He's going to be using it Tuesday in the afternoon. We check the book. We make sure it's available. We take his information. No problem, Mr. Smith. Here's the code to do it. Just make sure you leave it in the same condition you found it and lock it when you're done. If anything was to have happened to that, we know the last person that was there, for one. If it's left unlocked, we know the last person who was there. But we're not just giving free access for somebody to turn the pitcher's mound into a place to have a sandcastle, So we're trying to maintain our amenities, still let them be available to our residents just by a simple phone call.
Okay. And this came up because the high school, I believe last spring, put a fence that blocked off one of the diamonds on their property, on Clark County School District property. And so that blocked off the soccer field and the PE baseball diamond that the high school uses. So that was something that the Clark County School District started doing in 2014, I think, when I was living in Las Vegas. So it seemed like access to that, if access is as easy as calling the Parks Department to say, hey, I want to use a facility, then I think that would be a good solution for those. I know in 2019, Clark County the school district was trying to do a open schools, open doors policy for facilities at schools and high schools, and I think that got shelved when COVID happened. So I don't know if there's any desire to reopen negotiations with Clark County School District for some of the other amenities. When I was in high school and after high school, I saw people walking the track at the high school all the time, even with lights on in the evenings.
So we too have heard that the community does miss that track being open, just being able to go and run laps or walk laps, or even do the stairs. It's a great location if you're trying to do a little bit of CrossFit, to run those stairs on those bleachers. But yeah, unfortunately, the school district does keep those locked up.
Okay. Well, I think that's all I have.
Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but doesn't the city have an agreement with the school district to sort of share facilities? I know that the school district uses a lot of city facilities for athletics, and I thought that there was a written agreement with the school district.
There is a written agreement from 1980 for a joint use agreement for us to each be able to use each other's facilities if available as needed. However, that the city, for the most part, other than Safekey, provides its own facilities for use for its events.
So is it possible to maybe revisit with the school district on some of those facilities like the track and bleachers?
So I don't see that, I think that would be more the residents reaching out, because Parks and Recreation really does not need that facility for Parks and Recreation programs. It would be more like if residents wanted it for their use. So that really wouldn't come from the city. It wouldn't be a joint use agreement unless we wanted to go in and use it for a program, which we do not have a need for that facility for a Parks and Recreation program.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, with that, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you. Oh, did I forget something?
One more public
I'm
comment.
sorry, you're right. I'm trying to move along there. We'll open up for our final public comment. This comment period is open to any topic, but speakers are still limited to 5 minutes. Seeing no one in the audience, anyone wishing to call in could do so by calling 702-589-9629. And do we have any posted comments?
No written comments.
Thank you. Again, that number is 702-589-9629. Okay, appears we have no public comment, and with that, we will now adjourn the meeting. Thank you.